Hi, everyone. I'm Bracha, and welcome to People's Voice Cafe. So great to have everyone with us. People's Voice Cafe provides a musical space for artistic expression in many styles of music and performance, and on a wide variety of humanitarian issues and concerns. The program is honoring immigrant voices, as it is well known that immigrants contribute a lot to the variety of voices and the many talents and hard work that built our country. We're happy to welcome immigrant voices tonight. It's a reminder that each person is a story. We're happy to hear some of their stories through song. And it's also Dr. King's weekend, and we will weave some song and reading into this program that honors Dr. King's legacy and all he did for civil rights in America. You may wonder why I'm wearing a Voting is My Superpower t-shirt tonight. Well, a word about honoring Dr. King's weekend before we launch into a wonderful program honoring immigrant voices. People look back at the civil rights movement and think of unfairness to Black Americans who came here as slaves originally, such as things like where you can sit at a lunch counter or on a bus, or what school you're allowed to go to, or what bathroom, water fountain, or swimming pool or neighborhood you can be in, or what job you can have. The civil rights movement, in which Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was such an impactful leader, had another huge, far-reaching impact, and that was in the power of voting. In 1965, the Voting Rights Act directed the Attorney General to enforce the right to vote for African Americans. The 1965 Voting Rights Act created a significant change in the status of African Americans throughout the South. We are grateful to Dr. King and the civil rights movement for taking a dream and putting it into action. If not for the power of voting, all those other crucial rights could be gone in a second. So talking about putting it into action, a way that Dr. King is honored today is through acts of service. So we're asking the audience to commit yourself to doing an act of service during this weekend. And now to immigrant voices. Each person is a song. Come hear their stories in song. So first up, give a warm People's Voice Cafe welcome to Dan Milner, and let me tell you something about him. Dan Milner, born into an Irish family, first heard traditional ballads sung by his father, William Milner of Birmingham, England. At the age of 16, he was introduced to maritime songs by his elder brother, Liam Milner. Dan lived in 3 countries, England, Ireland, and Canada, before moving to New York. He has sung at many major festivals in Europe and America and has made 5 CDs, including the Indie-nominated Irish Pirate Ballads, Smithsonian Folkways. His latest book is The Unstoppable Irish, Songs and Integration of the New York Irish, Notre Dame Press. So we're very thrilled to hear from Dan Milner at this point. Welcome, Dan.
Thank you, Bracha. Thank you. I hope the performance is up to the introduction. I'll start off with a song. I like to think of this as the Enigma ballad. You can think on that as you listen to the song, but you won't be able to answer it really until you've heard the last line. It's called The Island of Jamaica. One morning as I wandered from my gallant brigantine on the island of Jamaica, where I have lately been, my mind being bent on rambling, not caring where I went, up to a rich plantation my course I slowly bend. The orange trees bedeck the fields with green and yellow spawns. Occasionally my mind would fill with melancholy thoughts. Being weary of my rambling, I sat me down to rest. I thought all on my native land, the land I love the best. My people live in harmony, they labor at their ease. Whilst I am going foolishly to plough the angry seas. Whilst I am going foolishly to labor night and day. I sang a song of old Ireland to drive dull care away. My song it being over, my mind it fell at ease. I rose to pull some oranges that hung down from the trees. 'Twas then I spied a female form that filled me with delight. She wore the robes of innocence, her dress it was snowy white. Politely I stepped up to her, I said, my pretty maid. And with a smile she answered me, good morning, sir, she said. I think you are a sailor that's lately come this way. I belong to yonder brigantine, lies anchored in the bay. I sat myself down by her side, we chatted for a while. I told her many's the queer old yarn that caused her for to smile. And as she rose to leave me, she gave me this address. Call in and see my husband. He will treat you to the best. 'Twas there she introduced me to a noble-looking man, who kindly then saluted me, and he took me by the hand. The wine being on the table, and dinner was served up soon. We three sat down together for a jovial afternoon. Well, now before I go away, I'll tell you if I can. My name is Harry Ryerson. I am an Irishman. About 3 days 'fore I left home, my troubles they began. By the powers above, the wife I loved ran away with another man. So the enigma is it a joke? Is it real? Who knows? Only those who were there. Only Harry knows, actually. Only Harry knows.
Ah, but the wife came back.
Oh, the wife has come back. Oh, Lord, I tell you. Now, how are we going to do this? You're too far away.
Oh, you've got to move your
No,
chair.
no. Just pretend we're newlyweds. Come all the way over. There we are. That's good. We'll sing a song now, and if the other one was odd, then this one is peculiar too, but for a very different reason, because it displays such an incredible air of confidence, an unrealistic air of confidence. This is a fella who was leaving Ireland, coming to America, and he thinks that his girlfriend is going to just simply wait and wait and wait for him all this time. And I don't think that happened, frankly. It's called the Fahan Side. The Fahan is a river that runs into the lower. Well, it's near Belfast. Let's put it that way. All right. Ready?
Yeah.
Yeah, good. 1, 2, 3. We'll go now.
Yeah.
There's a stream like crystal. It runs down as plainly may be seen. It's there you'll find the Irish oak trimmed with the ivy green, where the shamrock rose and the thistle, the lily too beside, all flourished there together, boys, along the Fahan side. Oh, could you see that lovely place, all in the summertime? Each bush, each tree, they look so gay, each meadow in its prime, where the blackbird and the golden thrush, they tune their notes so gay. Ah, but still I had a notion of going to America. Farewell unto this lovely place, from you I mean to roam, to leave my friends in Ireland, my dear old Irish home. Farewell unto my comrades all, and the place where they reside, for it's many's the happy hour I spent along the Fahan side. It's about 2 miles from Derry to the bridge of Drumahoe, where many's the happy night I spent in the days of long ago, where lambs do sport and the fair maids court, and small fish gently glide. In the blooming spring you'll hear small birds sing along the Fahan side. Oh, the leaving of this lovely place, it grieves my heart full sore, but the leaving of my own true love, it grieves me 10 times more. But if ever I return again, I'll make her be my bride, and I'll roll her in my arms, brave boys, along the Fahan side. Jolly, jolly, jolly. Well, I'll tell you a sad story now after that. My mother was one of 12 children. She was actually number 11. And she was born in 1914. 2 years before she was born, her oldest brother had already left Ireland and gone to Australia. And his name was Danny. He was called Danny. Donald, you know, and he was he and I were named after the same person. That would be my grandfather, his father. So this is after Danny got to Australia, he did not write to the family except for about the first month. And it was believed that he might have died somehow or other. And the most interesting thing about it is that when I went on ancestry.com/DNA, I was on it for about maybe 6 months or a year, and a person in Australia got in touch with me and told me that she and I were probably related because she was Danny's granddaughter. So here we go. Donald Cremin is my name. I was born in Cork near Sweetgish Came, and I always was a sharp young blade since the day that I was born. When I was young, I used to be as fine a lad as e'er you'd see, and I rambled round the country, roving and road bowling. One day my father came to us, he said there'd been a hell of a fuss, that the landlord had evicted us, and that we would leave tomorrow. Up the Sugon Road I then did track, my few things stuffed in my pack, and I knew right well I'd ne'er go back to the place where I was born. In Brosna town of some renown, it's there we tried to settle down, but I never knew what was going down, and the fate that would befall me. The children came, 1, 2, 3, soon there was no room for me. I was sent out on the country to the island of Australia. In the Oswestry Grange I sailed away, 10,000 miles across the sea, not knowing what awaited me in the far, far north of Queensland. In Tullytown I cut the cane in the stifling heat and the blinding rain, and I cursed the land from where I came that cast me out an orphan. The gaffer there, his name was Mac, half dirty pig, half lousy rat. One day he laid me such a crack, and I left him the next morning. Starting on the road alone, I swore my family I'd disown for the lonely life that I was shown. And I never again wrote to them. As down the coast I made my way, on foot by thumb, sometimes by dray, and I stopped a while near Moreton Bay, and heard a song of Frank the poet. When first I came to Sydney city, my heart did swell, I knew no pity, and my tongue grew sharp and very witty, as I became my own man. I married a wife, had children 5, my eldest boy was my pride. He went to war and there he died, and the best part of me died with him. Now upon my bed I lay, waiting for my dying day. Perhaps for Ireland I might pray, or leave the Lord to save her. So that's Danny's song, and I sent that to my cousins in Australia, my newly found cousins in Australia, as a Christmas present this year. So all is well between us. Bonnie's going to come back in again here now, and we're going to sing a sea shanty. Yes, right there. Let's sing a sea shanty. Yeah. Sea shanties are not every maritime song. They're work songs, and this one is interesting because it come a little closer. It also mentions the cargo, the passengers. You talk of vast packets of fame. She's a Londonderry packet, the Zerod's a name. If you want to sail on her, inquire down the Strand. It's there you'll find McCorkle and his office do stand. Derry down, 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 Derry down. It's now we hauled out from Derry's old dock, where the boys and the girls to the North Quay do flock, while the sailors skylarking on the decks to and fro. Bound away to the westward in the Zerad we'll go. Derry down, 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 Derry down. It's now we are sailing the Atlantic so wide, with our passengers 500 and where the dark and green billows wash along our broadside, with our sails neatly spread on each mast to and fro. Bound away to the westward in the Zerad we'll go. Derry down, 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 Derry down. It's now we are sailing the banks of Newfoundland, where the water's all clear and the bottom's all sand, where the fish of the ocean, they swim to and fro. Bound away in the westward, in the Zerad we'll go. Derry down, 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 Derry down. It's now we are sailing down by Jersey shore, where the pilot he boards us as he oft done before. Back away your main topsail, your foretack also. The Zerod's a holding, brave boys, let her go. Derry down, 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 Derry down. Up steps our captain, on the deck he do stand, to see that his good ship is properly manned, saying, give her more cloth, boys, and let her go free. For the Zerod's a wild bird that ne'er feared the sea. Derry down, 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 Derry down. It's now we are safe landed on Philadelphia Quay, where the passengers leave us and bid us goodbye. We were turning around while the tears down do fall. Bound away to Derry City, may the Lord bless you all. Derry down, 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 Derry down, Derry down. Down, down, Derry down. Now, don't go anywhere. Where are you going? Sit down. Take that seat. Sneaking off.
Sneaking off.
Here's an immigrant song now, Made in America. All right. And this is about a fellow named Mike. And Mike is he's a unusual sort of guy. He's a fella that his workmates like to make fun of. And Mike works on a railroad line. He's one of a crew which keeps a section of the railroad line in good order. And it's so he works on a section gang. Section gang working in the broiling sun. Section men shirking though there's work to be done. Damn be the president, and my name is Mike. I got my hand into it. I drive the spike. Mike's from Tipperary and his name's old Burke. Fights like the devil and he hates to work. Damn be the president, and my name is Mike. I got my hand into it. I drive the spike. Leveling up the roadbed ain't no fun. No driving down the spikes in the broiling sun. Damn be the president, my name is Mike. I got my hand into it. I drive the spike. He bakes down and shakes the blazing rails, hangs round your head till your mind nearly fails. Damn be the president, and my name is Mike. I got my hand into it, I drive the spike. Shoveling the ground when he hoists that tie. Supper time coming in the sweet by and by. Damn be the president, and my name is Mike. I got my hand into it, I drive the spike. Mike was piling ties near a ditch by the road, out among the gyms and where the boys ain't mowed. Damn be the president, and my name is Mike. I got my hand into it, I drive the spike. Picked up a cross tie without much vim. Black snake wriggles tween his pants and him. Damn be the president, and my name is Mike. I got my hand into it, I drive the spike. Took out for Oklahoma and he ain't coming back. Showed no hesitation as he tore down the track. Damn be the president, and my name is Mike. I got my hand into it, I drive the spike. Caught up with a express train, he hunted like a man. Be damned if you can't run, let ahead what can. Damn be the president, and my name is Mike. I got my hand into it, I drive the spike. Damn be the president, and my name is Mike. I got my hand into it, I drive the spike. How are we doing for time? How are we doing for time, someone? Someone, record keeper here, unmute yourself and tell me how much longer there is or isn't to go. I don't want to get the hook in the middle of it all.
One more song, then.
One more song it is. Many of you, I would think, remember the great Lou Killen. Lou was born in Gateshead in England, and his family were colliery workers. That means that they were miners. And Lou was a great singer. And eventually he was known in all the folk clubs in England. And eventually he came to America and he hooked up with the Clancy brothers. And he was one of the Clancy brothers for something like around about 8 years. It was a long time, I know. And my friends and I ran a folk club in New York at the Eagle Tavern for many years. And we got to know Lou very, very well. And as a matter of fact, when was it? Something like around about 1998, I made a recording of Irish ballads and songs of the sea. And Lou took part to a great deal in that thing and really made it, I think, a special album. Anyway, so I'm going to take a glass of water and then I'm going to sing a song Lou used to close his set with. This was the last song that he sang, and he always got a standing ovation. I'm not Lou, so you don't have to get out of your chair, but I'd like you to hear this wonderful song. It's an immigrant song, of course. Come fill the glass, let's drink about this night, we'll merry be. For friendship and for harmony, likewise my comrades ye. To meet you once more, my friends, a sacred joy I feel. For I now must stray so far away, when fortune turns her wheel. 'Tis not vain clothes nor gold, I say, that's the estimate of man. For when we meet a friend in need, we lend a helping hand. With him we'll sit, with him we'll drink, to him our minds reveal. And friends will stay, whatever way blind fortune turns her wheel. Oh, it's once I loved a bonny lass, and on her I'll lay the blame. For when hard fortune frowned on me, she denied she knew my name. But falsehood by remorse is past, to her I'll never kneel. I'll sweethearts find, both true and kind, when fortune turns her wheel. Many's the time my feet's been cold, coming in from the frost and dew. Many's the time my heart's been sore, and I like to break in two, with no one to pity me, nor yet to wish me weal. But maybe I'll repay them back when fortune turns her wheel. And it's some of my pretending friends, if friends you may them call. It's I they turned their backs on me when a mine was at the wall. But in a glass I let them pass, I'm sure I wish them weal. If my hard fate upon them wait, when fortune turns her wheel. Oh, adieu, ye hills of the sweet Tyrone, likewise to Avondale, where friendship binds the strongest ties, love tells the softest tale. Adieu, my friends and comrades here, I know you wish me will, and maybe yet I can repay my debt when fortune turns her wheel. Thank you.
That was great, Dan. So next we have a reading on Dr. King and the Civil Rights Movement. And I also want to remind people to appreciate our wonderful performers. Please continue to put messages in the chat. Thanks for the messages so far. And on to Dr. King and his leadership in the Civil Rights Movement. So here's a reading on Dr. King's leadership in the Civil Rights Movement from a book, Everybody Says Freedom, A History of the Civil Rights Movement in Songs and Pictures, put together by Pete Seeger and Bob Reiser. In 1963, several actions were taken in Birmingham. The third phase called for a boycott of all segregated downtown stores. A court injunction forbid King and most other civil rights leaders from participating in the protest. Without King and Abernathy and the others willing to lead the marches, the momentum of the movement might begin to fade. On the other hand, if they did.
Good evening. I'm Lev Pinsky.
You're ready.
I think Braca had some technical difficulties. Let's see if she's back.
Hello, can you hear me?
You are really breaking up and the video just dropped out again. See if perhaps you can reconnect to your internet, to your Wi-Fi. And in the meantime, I'll say a few words about People's Voice Cafe and the importance of contributing to People's Voice Cafe in general and tonight's performers in particular. Well, I'm sure you've seen non-profit organizations where the CEO makes millions of dollars. Well, People's Voice Cafe is not one of those. We all volunteer our time, and Even during the pandemic, most of us have some day jobs. However, for performers, including the ones who you hear tonight, this is their actual first job. And with all the live performances canceled for pretty much a year now, these kind of performances online is their only source of income. So, as People's Voice Cafe is not only non-profit, but we're driven with a mission of helping the arts in general and folk arts in particular. 90% of everything that we collect during this performance and all of these webinar concerts that we have done so far, 90% of everything we collect goes directly to performers. So if you've contributed by donating to get the registration link, or if you're watching this on Facebook Live, or you're watching this later on YouTube, please consider going to www.peoplesvoicecafe.org/contribute. And any additional contributions that you make tonight while the performance is going on, 90% of that goes directly to performers themselves. All right, thank you very much. I will put the link to that contribute page in the chat in a moment. Let's see if we can get Braca back.
Okay, so I'll read it with just the sound. Without King and Abernathy and the others willing to lead the marches, the momentum of the movement might begin to fade. On the other hand, if they did defy the injunction, they would most certainly go to jail. The whole plan was in danger. On the morning of Good Friday, King met with his staff, Andrew Young. We already had many people in jail, but all the money was gone and we couldn't get people out. The Black business community and some clergy were pressuring us to call off the demonstrations. We didn't know. He said, look, something has to change in Birmingham. I don't know if I can raise money to get people out of jail. I do know I can go to jail with them. Not knowing how it was going to work out, he walked out of the room, went down to the church, and went to jail. That was, I think, the beginning of King's true leadership. From jail, King wrote to the Black religious leaders who had urged him to go slow. For years now, I have heard the word wait. It rings in the ear of every Negro with piercing familiarity. This wait has almost always meant never. The nations of Asia and Africa are moving with jet-like speed towards gaining political independence, but we still creep at horse and buggy pace towards gaining a cup of coffee at a lunch counter. When you have seen vicious mobs lynch mothers and fathers at will and drown your sisters and brothers at whim, when you've seen hateful policemen curse, kick, and even kill your Black brothers and sisters, when you see the vast majority of your 20 million Negro brothers smothering in an airtight cage of poverty in the midst of an affluent society, you have to concoct an answer for a 5-year-old son who's asking, Daddy, why do white people treat Black people so mean? When your first name becomes nigger, your middle name becomes boy, however old you are, and your last name becomes time where the cup of ignorance runs up. Now, that was the statement to King. The next person to perform, going back to Immigrant Voices, is Pamela Jean Agaloos. Pamela Jean is an active musician in the Irish-Scottish trad scene in New York City. Born to Filipino parents in the US Naval Base in Chicago, she has a background in musical theater in the Philippines, where she lived until 2011. She participates in folk sings like Exceedingly Good Song Night and the Sunnyside Singers Club, and also is a guest vocalist for the band New York Brogue. Although a frequent figure in Manhattan trad scene, Pamela makes Iona.
All right, that's my cue. Okay. All right, so there's a little bit of crossover between me and Dan Milner. We see each other at Sunnyside Singers Club and in various places. So there's going to be a little bit of crossover. I tend to be attracted to going away songs from Ireland and Scotland. So as a Filipino, I will also be singing a Tagalog song and others, and one in Scots Gaelic as well. But this is one that it's not an immigrant song. It's to do with finding your one true love. When like the early rose I lean a root, beauty in childhood grows I lean a root. When like a diadem buds blush around the stem, which is the perfect gem, Eileen Aroon, who in the dance so sweet, Eileen Aroon, who in the song so sweet, Eileen Aroon. Dear were her charms to me, dear her laughter free, dearest her constancy, Eileen Aroon. I knew a valley fair, Eileen Aroon. I knew a cottage there, Eileen Aroon. Far in that valley shade, I knew a gentle maid, flower of the hazel glade, Eileen Aroon. Were she no longer true, Eileen Aroon, what would her lover do, Eileen Aroon? Fly with his golden chain far across the bounding main, never to love again, Eileen Aroon. Youth must in time decay, Eileen Aroon. Beauty must fade away, Eileen Aroon. Castles are sacked at war, chieftains are scattered far, truth is a fixed star, Eileen Aroon, Eileen Aroon. Eileen Aroon. Okay. So it's based on a true story. It was sung at a wedding. And the person who sang it flew away with the bride. So the next song is called Callum Scarra. I learned it from Christine Primrose. She is Scotland's premier folk singer. There is a documentary about her that was aired on the BBC. They came to the Iona session, and you will see me right in the middle of the documentary lip reading to save my life. So I decided to sing this song, learn this song as best as I can. There are a million verses. I'm only going to sing 3, and it's unaccompanied. Fai lorau, fai ala sorau, fai lorau, ogiosna oi, ingeris maui shola, Solkaiga gorgis margamberan uitam basta Coranyoran sunrun fai lorau Fayala sorau fai lorau ogiosna oi Gedi ochari gertromasta sadomolenog mis margomberan Midambasta shishaglachan irver fai lorau fayala sorau fai lorau hogiosa oi Davile shilaniahi Kuri korcho derar kilakanura shugiala Shijavara shilen fai lorau fayala sorau fai lorau hogiosna oi. All right, that is Calamskara, song about a woman who was making an appeal to the King of Norway to find her husband and send her back to Scotland. Heartbreaking stuff. The next song is something that I learned off a CD ages ago, also sung Calamskara, which I learned from Christine Primrose, is also sung by the Body Band. The Body Band also is known to be singing The Maid of Coolmore. I sing this at the Iona session, and this is a different version from what is known, from what people are familiar with. It's also about a song. It's also a going away song, another song about finding your love, trying to do everything you can to get to them. From sweet Londonderry to the fair London town, there is no other nicer harbor anywhere to be found, where the children each evening are playing down round the shore, and the joy bells are ringing for the Maid of Coolmore. The first time that I met her, she passed me by, and the next time that I met her, she bade me goodbye, and the next time that I met her, she grieved my heart sore, for she sailed off Loafoilen, far away from Coolmore. If I had the power, the storm to rise, I would blow the wind higher, for to darken the skies. I would blow the wind higher, to make the salt seas to roar. On the day to the north of America. My love, I'll sail for there I know no one, no one knows me. And if I should not find her, I return home no more. And like a pilgrim, I will wander for the maid of Colmore. And like a pilgrim, I will wander for the maid of Colmore. All right. So that was a maid of Colmore. The next song is a Tagalog song. Nat King Cole sang it in the Philippines when he went on tour. He learned it on the spot. The title of the song is Dahil Sa'yo, and basically it means because of you. It's a song, apparently a lot of high school choirs are singing it, and it's kind of flattering to myself. I feel very, very seen as a Filipino. So basically the chorus, if you hear it, Dahil Sa'yo, basically says, it's because of you I want to live. Almost like, I hope you don't mind if I put down the words, how wonderful life is that you're in the world. It's kind of the same ilk. Okay. No guitar this time. It's very complex. Sa buhay ko'y labis ang hirap at pasakit ng pusong umiibig, mandiwala ng langit at nang lumigaya, hinango mo sa dusa, tanging ikaw, sinta, ang aking pag-asa. Dahil sa'yo, nais kong mabuhay. Dahil sa'yo, hanggang mamatay, dapat mong tantuin, wala nang ibang giliw, puso ko'y tanungin, ikaw at ikaw pa rin. Dahil sa'yo, ako'y lumigaya, pagmamahal ay alalayan ka, kung tunay man ako ay alipinin mo, ang lahat ng ito'y dahil sa'yo. Kung tunay man ako ay alipinin mo, ang lahat sa buhay ko'y dahil sa'yo. Straight A. Okay, how am I on time?
You have enough. Please go ahead.
Okay, good. Okay, so the next song, I was raised on a lot of movies growing up. One of them was Alice in Wonderland. A lot of Disney, a lot of Mary Poppins, a lot of Julie Andrews, a lot of Sound of Music. So Julie Andrews was a big influence in my life. God bless her. So, and this song is called Feed the Birds. So if any of you know this song at all, feel free to sing along. Sip of water. Early each day to the steps of St. Paul's, the little old bird woman comes. In her own special way to the people she calls. Come buy my bags full of crumbs. Come feed the little birds, show them you care, and you'll be glad if you do. Their young ones are hungry, their nests are so bare, all it takes is tuppence from you. Feed the birds, tuppence a bag, tuppence, tuppence, tuppence a bag. Feed the birds, that's what she cries, while overhead the birds fill the skies. All around the cathedral, the saints and apostles look down as she sells her wares. Although you can't see it, you know they are smiling each time someone shows that they care. Though her words are simple and few, listen, listen, she's calling to you. Feed the birds, tuppence a bag, tuppence, tuppence, tuppence a bag. Tuppence a bag. All right. Ay, salamat, Pamela. Someone knows Tagalog. That's great. Walang anuman. All right, so this is another song that I learned off of my childhood. It sounds very sad, but it's not. It's a very escapist. It's from Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. Hush by Mountain. Gentle words and lyrics. I'm sorry. A gentle breeze from Hushabye Mountain softly blows o'er Lullaby Bay. It fills the sails of boats that are waiting, waiting to sail your worries away. It isn't far to Hushabye Mountain, and your boat waits down by the quay. The winds of night so softly are sighing, soon they will fly your troubles to sea. So close your eyes on Hushabye Mountain, wave goodbye to cares of the day, and watch watch your boat from Hushabye Mountain sail far away on Lullaby Bay. So close your eyes on a Hushabye Mountain, wave goodbye to cares of the day, and watch your boat from a Hushabye Mountain sail far away on Lullaby Bay. Sail far away on Lullaby Bay. Hushabye Mountain. Okay, so this is my last song of the evening, and I learned it off of someone just shot this at me from the internet, and it's called Liscannor Bay from County Clare. It's from a band called The Fiddle Case. If you would check them out, I highly recommend them. And there is a siren in my neighborhood. Beg your pardon. It had to happen. There's also a song has a little bit of going away. Solo. Stars out to play love on a spring fairy night. Call of the curlew, oh, the willow is blind. Sound of the sea spray on an emerald's bay. A sunset or moonbeam on Liscannor Bay. Know that I love you, my only desire, to be our own company, watching flames in the fire. Know that I love you, with you I will stay. How mellow the light shines on Liscannor Bay. Fields of our childhood, still fresh as the day. When I first saw you playing 'neath the small cocks of hay, our friends and neighbors stood watching on by. Your laughter went ringing to the larks in the sky. Know that I love you, my only desire, to be our own company, watching flames in the fire. Know that I love you, with you I will stay. How mellow the light shines on Liscannor Bay. Time rolls along, dear, but never you mind. The breeze from the ocean can be gentle and kind. Each song from your heart be there, to the dewdrops and roses, to my cottage and care. Know that I love you, my only desire, to be your own company, watching flames in the fire. Know that I love you, with you I will stay. How mellow the light shines on the scanner bay. How mellow the light shines on the scanner bay. Thank you. Thank you so much. And we have Mario Cancel-Bigay coming up next. And thanks for having me, People's Voice Cafe.
Thanks, Pamela Jean Agaloos. That was terrific. Okay, great. So we want to thank you so much and apologize for technical difficulties. And you really brought it home. Wonderful, powerful songs. And next we have Mario Cancel-Bigay. And before we head there, I just want to mention that at the end of the program, everyone is getting together and you'll hear from the performers verses from We Shall Overcome, some in their original languages, and you're free to sing along while muted. So Mario Cancel-Bigay is a Puerto Rican singer-songwriter, poet, and PhD candidate in ethnomusicology at Columbia University. He's an expert on the Puerto Rican national guitar, the cuatro, which he's been playing for 25 years. His songs, composed in Spanish and English, are influenced by Latin American Nueva Canción, Puerto Rican Jabaro peasant music, rock, jazz, blues, and American protest music. Often Mario sings poems that he sets music to. His lyrics address anti-colonialism, social justice, and global South solidarity, in addition to questioning gender constructs and celebrating Afro-Caribbean legacies. When we get to the end piece with We Shall Overcome, people in the audience, you can kind of cross hands like you're trying to reach out to people and sing along while muted. So we thank everyone for being here. And let's welcome Mario Cancel-Bigay.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Dan. Thank you, Pamela. Beautiful music, beautiful songs. And thank you, Braca, for you introducing me. I'm going to start off with a Seis Mapelle. This is music from the Puerto Rican peasantry, the Jíbaro. It is music that is typically played with this instrument, which is the Puerto Rican cuatro, the national guitar from my country, from Puerto Rico. And so the music is folk music, is folkloric. The lyrics that I will be singing are of my authorship. They are decimas. This is the kind of poetry that you write to this kind of music that is known as seis. And this particular seis is known as Seis Mapelle. The lyrics of this song speak to the sadness behind leaving one's homeland and also to the power of knowing that one is not alone. Lolai, le lolai, lole lolai, le lolai. De un horizonte venimos, de un horizonte venimos, de tristezas ancestrales abonadas por las sales de los mares del abismo. Venimos del sol y el sismo, venimos del sol y el sismo, a fuerza de fuerza errantes. Si poderes imperiales definieron nuestras sendas para quebrar las cadenas, los ancestros son la clave. Lole, lolai, le, lolai, no diga usted que no, los ancestros son la clave. Lole, lolai, le, lolai, lole, lolai, le, lolai, acá en la distancia queda, acá en la distancia queda el recuerdo repetido, el latido de un garimbo transmutándose en las eras. Somos el cuerpo y la idea, somos el cuerpo y la idea en profundo maridaje. Si poderes imperiales impusieron sus senderos para ser y seguir siendo, nuestros hijos son la clave. Lole, lolai, le, lolai, no diga usted que no, nuestros hijos son la clave. We have traveled from afar, full of dignity headstrong. Our ancestors give us strength, our children make us strong. We have traveled from afar, full of dignity headstrong. Our ancestors give us strength, our children make us strong. We have traveled from afar, full of dignity headstrong. Our ancestors give us strength, and our children make us strong. We have traveled from afar, full of dignity headstrong. Our ancestors give us strength, and our children make us strong. Thank you, thank you, thank you. The following song, thank you so much, thank you. The following song, you know, when I moved to New York City from Puerto Rico 10 years ago, 11 years ago now, when I was 25, I didn't know much about the history of the other half of my country, of those other Puerto Ricans who had left before me, right, in the Great Migration of the 1940s and 50s. I knew very little about the history and the culture of New Yorkers or Puerto Ricans that had been here before in New York. And when I moved here, I was fortunate enough to meet Bernardo Palombo, an awesome Argentinian singer-songwriter who's been running the Latin American workshop for decades now. And Bernardo introduced me to Jesus Papoleto Melendez, one of the founders of the New Yorker Poets movement, along with Pedro Pietri and Sandra Maria Esteves and Miguel Algarín and so many others. And when I met Papoleto, I read his poetry and I fell in love with it. And I set music to this poem that he wrote about a small place, the longing for a small place. The poem is called Somewhere. It was written by Jesus Papoleto Melendez, and the music is of my creation. Somewhere the sun will soon rise, a rooster will voice his morning cry, and a new day will awake in some small place. and a new day will awake in some small place. In that same place, Huck Finn will swim and enjoy the joys of his carefree life. He'll live by the ways of Peter Pan's I won't grow up, and he never will, as he lives in the land of Mother Goose and fairy tales. Somewhere in a fantasy, somewhere in a fantasy, somewhere the sun will soon rise, a rooster will voice his morning cry, and a new day will awake in some small place. Somewhere the sun will soon rise, a rooster will voice his morning cry, and a new day will awake in some small place. And here I'm left in reality, to daydream of the half-dream of a dream I never really dreamed. To daydream of the half-dream of a dream I never really dreamed. But somewhere the sun will soon rise, somewhere the sun will soon rise, somewhere the sun will soon, here comes the sun, little darling, somewhere the sun will soon, here comes the sun, little darling, somewhere the sun will soon, somewhere the sun will soon, somewhere the sun will soon, somewhere the sun, somewhere the sun will soon, somewhere the sun, somewhere the sun will soon, somewhere the sun, somewhere the sun will soon rise. Thank you so much. Thank you. It's by a poem by Jesus Papoleto Melendez, my dear friend. When I moved to New York City, I fell in love with a beautiful Haitian American woman who eventually became my wife. I guess she couldn't resist this Puerto Rican, and we had a we had a beautiful daughter called Gabriela. And when Gabriela turned 4, I composed this song for her as a birthday gift on December 19th of 2017. And the song is, it's in English, but it's really about the transition from being a baby and transitioning into toddlerhood. A lot of big changes. So, a song for Gabriela. I remember when you used to wake up at 3 in the morning. Seems like a long time ago. We poured some milk, some hope, some love in your bottle so you would grow. Oh, you were such a fragile baby. Now look at you. Now look at you. Oh, you were such a fragile baby. Now look at you. Now look at you. A strong and spirited 4-year-old girl, taken in the whole wide world. A strong and spirited 4-year-old girl, taken in the whole wide world. I remember when you used to babble words that no one could understand. Your face has dada avant-garde, mixing Spanish moons with English moons and Creole seas. Google Translator had it hard. Oh, you were such a bright baby. Now look at you. Now look at you. Oh, you were such a bright baby. Now look at you. Now look at you. An even brighter 4-year-old girl, conversing with the whole wide world. An even brighter 4-year-old girl, conversing with the whole wide world. I remember when you used to be carried wherever you went. You were a queen without a crown. Mommy went hunting for the diapers of your kingdom. Daddy was your subject clown. Oh, you were such a selfish baby. Now look at you. Now look at you. Oh, you were such a selfish baby. Now look at you. Now look at you. A barely selfish 4-year-old girl, sharing with the whole wide world. A barely selfish 4-year-old girl, sharing with the whole wide world. Conversing with the whole wide world. Taken in the whole wide world. I remember when you used to wake up at 3 in the morning. Seems like a long time ago. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you. The next song it's on my authorship as well. I want to dedicate it to Martin Luther King Jr., Malcolm X, and Black Lives Matter. And I don't think it needs more details than that. Like the rising sun. It is in the hopes that things don't stay the same that we say your name. The sound of the waves against the pier, the faces we would never see again, an ocean that grew deeper with our tears, with our tears. We had our goddesses, they won Lord. We were denied water, fish, and bread. And when we broke, they threw us overboard. Overboard. And the effacement of our name, the theft of our beliefs, being hunted as if game, our spirits were not tamed. Like the rising sun we rose over the waves, like the rising sun we rose over the waves. When we made it to the other coast, back-breaking cotton and sugar cane, we drummed and sang, we fled and set to flames more than one estate. One day whips and chains just disappeared. Injustice then took another form. We marched, we self-defended, and our tears were rainfall in the storm. And despite all the grief, the effacement of our name, the theft of our beliefs, being hunted as if game, our spirits were not tamed. Like the rising sun we rose over the waves, like the rising sun we rose over the waves. Whoa, may our sorrow be joy tomorrow. Whoa, whoa, may our rage held a new age. Whoa, may a cell not be our home. Whoa, whoa, may we breathe another day. Whoa, may we be paid what we are owed. Whoa, may we breathe another day. May we rise like the sun over the waves. May we rise like the sun over the waves. And it is in the hopes that things don't stay the same that we say your name, George. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I would like to conclude with one final song. Thank you so much. And thank you, People's Voice Cafe, for the kind invitation and the opportunity. And thank you, Lev, for all your work with the sound. I really appreciate it. The last song, it's a song of hope about our current situation. I do want to thank Hudson Valley Sally, because these friends of mine from this awesome band, we came together and were brainstorming about songs, and they inspired me to compose this song. Them and singer-songwriter Ruben Gonzalez, who's an awesome composer. And out of those meetings and sharing really with these friends of mine, this song came about. Originally it was written in Spanish, but they pushed me, and we ended up translating it into English. So David Tarlo, who belongs to Hudson Valley Sally, helped me to translate it into English, and I'll be sharing that version with you all. So. A little bit of water. for those who lean on a screen to hear words of love, for the widow who grieves with no wake for her loss, for the children who weep for the grandma who left, for those in the hospital alone and bereft, for them this song. I sing this song for the friend who's nearby and yet so far away, for those risking their lives to save life every day, for the cashiers, the firemen, the farmers who grow the food the delivery man brings to my door, for them this song. We sing this song. In the hour of dark, be lit by the spark of the music. In the times when to touch is to harm, be touched by the music. When the wind of the sea is so far, be caressed by the music. May the chant of being apart be arranged by the music. When you feel the breath of the angel of death and you cannot embrace the ones who remain, may the sorrow and pain fade away in the music. For the sanitation worker, the caregiver of elders, for the nurses in pain, drivers of buses and trains, for the mailmen, the teachers, the brave volunteers, the activist singers who break down in tears, for them this song. I sing this song for those in solidarity, those who give wholeheartedly, for the one who's forsaken, the forgotten First Nations, for the poor who do not make the 6 o'clock news, the immigrant workers who just cannot choose, for them this song. We sing this song. In the hour of dark, be lit by the spark of the music. In the times when to touch is to harm, be touched by the music. When the wind of the sea is so far, be caressed by the music. May the chant of being apart be arranged by the music. When you feel the breath of the angel of death and you cannot embrace the ones who remain, may the sorrow and pain fade away in the music. La da la la da la la in the music. La da la la da la la da da in the music. La da la la da 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 in the music. La da la la da la la da da in the music. When you feel the breath of the angel of death and you cannot embrace the ones who remain, may the sorrow and pain fade away in the music. Follow the path of the sun in the music. Search for the warmth of your voice in the music. May justice prevail above all in the music, and hope last forever for all in the music. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you for the invitation. Thank you.
Can you hear me? That was really terrific. Wonderful performances from everyone, and we're looking forward so much to the closing with everyone having their part with We Shall Overcome, as well as people in the audience crossing hands so that you're reaching out to other people as we're singing this song while muted, and our performers will be leading the way.
We shall overcome. We shall overcome. We shall overcome one day. Oh, deep in my heart, I do believe we shall overcome one day.
We'll walk hand in hand. We'll walk hand in hand. We'll walk hand in hand someday. Oh, deep in my heart, I do believe we shall overcome someday.
Pronto venceremos, pronto venceremos, juntos lucharemos hasta el final. Quiero que mi país sea feliz con amor y libertad. Quiero que mi país sea feliz con amor y libertad.
Thanks everyone for wonderful performances. I want to make sure that Pamela Jean Agaloos gets her credit because the sound was iffy before. So Pamela Jean is an active musician in the Irish-Scottish trad scene in New York City, born to Filipino parents in a US Naval Base in Chicago. She has a background in musical theater in the Philippines, where she lived until 2011. She participates in folk songs like Exceedingly Good Song Night and the Sunnyside Singers Club, and also is a guest vocalist for the band New York Brogue. Although a frequent figure in Manhattan trad scene, Pamela makes Iona Bar in Williamsburg, Brooklyn, her session home, which has hosted and attracted top-notch talent from the city and around the world. We want to thank everyone for being here tonight, and thanks to our wonderful performers. For information about the performers' websites, go to www.peoplesvoicecafe.org. And thanks to our publicity team, Ruthie Indek, email publicity, Doug Cook, webmaster, and thanks to our production and booking teams, Sally Campbell, Martha Gottwald, myself, Steve Suffett, Lev Pinsky, engineer, Brent Kramer, producer, and let's give a special hand again to Lev Pinsky and Brent Kramer, engineer and producer, for the amazing job that they're doing every month with the live stream. And we also want to let you know about upcoming. Please join us on February 20th for our next People's Voice Cafe live stream, Justice and Civil Rights, honoring Black History Month, with Chris Matthews, Faith Nolan, and John Flynn. Details and registration at peoplesvoicecafe.org. And just to mention a brief thing about each person, John Flynn has been described as a social justice troubadour, equality, justice, and peace. He's a true advocate for and helps people coming out of prisons get back into the community in an amazing way. Chris Matthews, part of a new generation of social justice music makers, and does bold, complex performance. Faith Nolan uses music to bring about social change for a fairer and better world, and comes from a deep commitment to the struggles of people throughout the world. And thanks from People's Voice Cafe, which has a deep commitment to bringing these multiplex of varied artists with such great talent and commitment to a range of humanitarian causes. Thanks everyone for joining us. It was great to have you with us. And thanks so much to all our performers tonight. Let's give them another big hand.